The back and torso are always going to remain straight and upright and relaxed. Let the pelvis just naturally hang down and keep the head naturally sort of lifting up comfortably. Okay, now I want to start with what's important because we're going to be doing a lot of this back and forth motion. The feeling of the feet. Now the feet are going to root the body, support the body, and generate, they're the platform for generating the energy. So, first off, you want to make sure that when you're moving, say, forward and backward, like so, that you don't move the feet. You don't want to let this, anything like this happen. When you're going back, anything lift up. When you're going forward, anything happen. No. Once you've rooted the feet in this particular exercise, they stay, it's like sort of like they're velcroed onto the ground. Okay? Now, what is important to start with thinking about, that mostly people don't talk too much about, but it's very important, is what we call gather to the inside of the foot and release from the outside of the foot. When the foot, for instance, my right foot, my back foot, is accepting the energy basically moves to the inside of the foot. I can feel it mostly on like my big toe, my heel, and the inside arch. When we move forward or give the energy outward, it comes from the heel or from the outside, the little toe, the heel, the outside arch. All right? So when we come onto a foot, we gather to the inside of the foot. When we press forward or backward, depending upon releasing the energy moving, it goes to the heel or to the outside. It's the same thing with the forward foot. As I move my weight onto the forward foot, it goes to the inside of the forward foot predominantly. And when I press, it presses from the heel or from the outside. Now this is very important because just like I said, you do not want to let any of the foot lose contact with the ground. If when you're coming back, if you look at my feet here for a moment, if when I'm coming back, I root to the outside of the foot, it's easy for the inside to lift up, for the energy to go too far behind, and I lose my balance. It also puts a lot of stress on the hip and on the outside of the knee. So you do not want to accept to the outside because easy to lose your balance. When I come to the inside of the foot, it makes my foot heavier and presses into it. The same thing happens when I go forward. If I press forward from the inside of the foot, it's very easy for the outside of the foot to release, which you don't want to. It's then the hips collapse, and there's a whole lot of, when we get to the hip, there's a whole lot of other things that you're going to see, reason not to. Okay? So, you gather to the inside of the foot. When you move forward, you feel the weight on the inside. When you release the energy, you press from the heel. Okay, so this is gather to the inside, release from the outside. So concurrently, as one foot is gathering, one foot is releasing. This is what we call yin and yang, and this is what Tai Chi is about, balancing the two energies, the inside, the incoming, and the outflow. When we gather back, we call this gathering or yin energy. We're sinking the energy into the body. This is yin. Yin energy sinks downward, inward. When we move forward, this becomes yang. The energy is moving up. It's moving outward. So yin and yang. But you see one side, this is predominantly, this, as I move forward, is predominantly a yang movement. But at the same time, there's certain yin qualities, like this foot is becoming yin. It's gathering, my forward foot is balancing with some yin. So I don't become too yang, I don't become too one-sided. By having some yin, even though it's a yang movement, even though the movement is going out, there is some yin in there to balance and keep it, always, Okay, so gather to the inside and releasing from the outside. So this is the first thing we want to make sure that we've got. That you can feel you're using your feet. Your feet are open. It's like a cat. They're open, they're feeling the ground, and they're working. All right. Okay? All right, so I'm going to change feet here. And we'll do a little on this side. Again, the back foot wants to be approximately a 45-degree angle to the front foot. Your back is relaxed. And feeling, gather to the inside and releasing from the outside. Yin and Yang, forward and backward. We generally think of coming back onto the foot as gather, moving forward as sort of dispersing, creating. Yeah. This is getting everything ready, and here's the creation of the energy. Here the energy is building, gathering, centering, and here the energy is moving out and going out. So this is what we call in and we call out, or gather. Sometimes we call release, but it's not really release, but it's as good a term as almost anything. So when you're doing this, you want to think about, always in Tai Chi, we stay on the same level. We don't go up and down. That we just stay on the same level. All right. So this is the roots. Part of the kind of rooting structure of the body is to make sure that the knees go in the direction of the toes. That's another principle that's utmost important, that your knees always go in the direction of the toe. If they don't, you can easily hurt yourself, hurt your structure. Pay attention. Even when you're coming back, make sure the knee is still going in the direction of the toe. When you're forward, this back knee still is going in the direction of the back toe. There's a tendency to collapse. If you this is part of the whole rooting structure. If you're moving forward and you let this back knee collapse inward, it pulls the foot inward, and I cannot release from the heel and from the outside of the foot because the knee and hip are collapsing. So, but if you keep the knee in the direction of the toe, it will keep your feet pressing downward, making you more solid. Okay, so for the root portion of this, we have the feet solid on the ground, open. We have gather to the inside and release from the outside. And we have the knees making sure they go in the direction of the toes. No Tai Chi forms are correct unless these particular principles are followed. It's really the only way to generate a lot of energy. Okay? Okay, so that's the root. You come back. And you might want to shake out a little bit, which is also good after you've been working on your knees and working on your feet.